morning and welcome back. So if you're new here, my name is Emma. I buy and sell vintage jewellery and modern jewellery, and I also make my own handmade jewellery using a variety of materials including upcycled elements, so broken vintage jewellery, strip it all apart and I reuse all the bits and bobs. So in today's video I'm going to show you a little bit of footage of Thirsk, and we also went to, I think it was Helmsley, so you'll see a little bit of that footage now. And then after that, I shall show you my little haul. So we had an absolutely lovely time at the weekend. It was lovely and sunny. Thirsk is like a small market town. So it was literally in the shape of a square with parking in the middle. So we parked in the middle and then just did the little route all the way around the square. And I think there were about 3 or 4 charity shops. 2 of them were closed, which is unusual for a Saturday. So I'm wondering whether they maybe didn't have the volunteers or something. But yeah, we went around the charity shops and then we found a really nice little cafe that was called Upstairs Downstairs. So it had a deli in the bottom, it had a huge cheese counter, it had lots of things like jams and chutneys and that kind of stuff. And then upstairs was the cafe, and on the board outside it said that they did legendary scones. So yeah, they had scones with jam or jam and cream. They had savoury scones, which my friend Debbie had. She had a cheese scone. And I just went for the fruit scone with cream and jam, and it was massive. It was like that. So that was my lunch and my treat for the day. And then after we did the charity shops, we went to the place that we were staying at, which was called Sutton Hall Resort. So it's a lovely big old building. They turned it on the inside into apartments, like self-catering apartments. So you had a kitchen. Ours had a big living room, and we had a balcony as well, looking out onto the gardens, which was beautiful. So we could sit out there in the morning. We just stayed for one night. It had a swimming pool, a sauna, and a hot tub as well that you could book. So you could use that privately, which was awesome. So we had half an hour in each. So half an hour in the swimming pool, the hot tub, and then the sauna. And it was lovely. Took some food, cooked up a nice tea. It was just a really lovely weekend. And the friends that I went with, Debbie and Yvonne, we haven't been away together for about 9 years since my friend had her little girl. So it was lovely. We see each other, but we just haven't had a night away. So we were reminiscing on all the holidays we used to have, and it was just, yeah, it was well nice. So I shall show you some of my finds. There wasn't too much jewellery. However, one of the pieces would literally pay for the whole weekend, so I'll save that to last. But I got 8 pieces altogether. I'm trying to kind of pick more unusual things. So if it's something that's just kind of bog standard and plain, I'm staying away from it and going for more quirky, a little bit different, because that seems to sell really well. Plus, it's a little bit more interesting for you as well. So let's get stuck in. So in one of the charity shops, they had a little counter, like a cabinet, like a vintage cabinet near the till. And we'd been around the charity shop and we were about to leave, and then I spotted the counter and everything that was in there was £1. So I got a few pieces from there. So I got this lovely triple circle brooch. So it's like a gold tone, and then you can just see the texture there on those loops. I'll do what I usually do. I'll lay everything out and do a pan round so you can see it all in detail. So that one was £1. And then I got this, and at first I wasn't sure if it was silver or not, but for £1 I thought I would risk it. And what I've done is I've polished one side up so that you can see the difference. I'll pop a photograph up here so that you can see it when it's tarnished, and then you can see it when it's polished. But it was almost black. There we go. So it's a love heart. It's hollow, but it's quite a decent size. There we go from the side. And yeah, some of the tarnish made it look like it was scratched and black, and I thought maybe it's just plated and it's got damaged. However, when I get it home and I give it a good polish on that side, you can see how bright that is. That is such a big difference. And there are no scratches. It was literally, that was just the scratching in the tarnish. So that's going to polish up really nice. And it's got a lovely little bail on it, so that'll be going on a silver chain and probably over in the Etsy shop. I then picked up a pair of clip-on earrings for £1, and these are really sweet. They're like a pale pink peachy colour. So they're just little leaves, and then they've got a white cabochon in the centre. But I just thought they were really pretty colours. And for £1, you can't go wrong, can you? And she even popped them in a little box for me as well, which was nice. And then the last thing I got in there were these earrings. Now, for some reason, I keep finding this everywhere. I mean, I love it. In fact, I'll show you a piece that I've showed in another video. And this was from, I've completely forgotten. It was a holiday that we went on, and this came from one of the charity shops. So this is a hand-carved piece of buffalo horn. You can see all the different colours and kind of how it gradually goes darker. So that's one from my own collection, because I love to collect cuff bangles, vintage cuffs. That's one of my collectibles. So these are made from the same material. So these two are buffalo horn, but these have been carved for earrings. So I thought that was really nice. So they've taken the lighter sections. They're a little bit darker on the back. If I take one off. There we go. They're a bit darker on the back, and then they've got the whiter section on the front. And again, they were £1. They were from St Teresa's Hospice shop, which was on the square. And they're on nice sterling silver ear wires as well, which is awesome. So they'll be going in the Etsy shop as well. What else did we pick up in Thirsk? Got this beautiful necklace. This was the last charity shop that we went in and we nearly missed it because it was kind of just off the square down a little side street. So it's in this lovely vintage jewellery box and it was on display as well. And I asked the lady if I could have a look in the cabinet and she said, yep, help yourself. So this was kind of stood up in the display cabinet and it was the colour that caught my eye. So if I hold that up, you can see that it was £3, which is a bargain. And it is a beautiful rhinestone necklace. And you see these a lot with clear stones in, but not with the coloured. And these are like, oh, they're amazing. They're like an orangey red. And then they've got a coating and a Aurora Borealis coating over the top. They're absolutely stunning. You probably can't see it in this light. It's really, really dark today. It's a bit of a overcast, grim day, but I'm not complaining because it's a lot cooler. We had a heat wave this week and it got to like, I think it was 34, 33, 34, and I was just, couldn't do anything. It was way too much for me. There we go. Probably when I do the pan round, you'll see these colours a lot easier. I'll make sure I do it somewhere where the light is shining. And I sold a similar necklace to this to, where was it? Pinewood Studios. So that necklace will be in some kind of TV show or maybe in a movie or a TV series. It's quite exciting when you get those kind of orders. I've sold to like London Theatres, ITV, Channel 4, Pinewood Studios a couple of times. That should be able to sell for, I think the last one I got like that was in pink, exactly the same size. I managed to sell that for 40, so that's a tad, probably a tad smaller, tad kind of less, fewer rhinestones, so maybe 35 on that one, which would be awesome. And then this next necklace, I absolutely fell in love with the minute that I saw it. So this was from the cancer research. They had a little bit of jewellery hanging up on the wall and this caught my eye straight away. I'm just going to take the tag off so that it doesn't get tangled. So this one was £2.95, well worth it. So it's got the old brass spring ring on it there. And then look at that. How funky. In fact, you can see that a little bit better now with the light. So this is plastic, but it's got like a silver glitter inside as well. And they've all got like little metal connections between them. It needs a little bit of a clean. But I thought it was quite atomic looking. Quite quirky, quite unusual, chunky. In fact, that will go with my blue outfit today. So I was really, really happy with that. You don't often see things that are a little bit, you know, quirky like that, so I always pick them up. And then the last thing that I got was in Helmsley. So we had, on the last day when we were leaving, we had a drive. My friend Debbie drove us. And that, again, that was like a tiny, tiny little village, market village. And one of the charity shops was closed because it was a Sunday. And there was a shop that had homemade kind of candles and soaps and bath bombs and things, and then they had a room in the back that was all vintage and they had some jewellery. So I picked this up. I love this style. So it is The Art of Macintosh, so Renee Mackintosh, and this was £3.99, which is a little bit paid up for me, but it came with its original card, so it's never been used. It's actually really hard to show in this light. But it's a Renee Mackintosh style rose in gold tone with red enamel. So you'll be able to see that better in the close-up. So this is my last item and my most valuable piece of the weekend that would pay for the whole weekend. So when I saw this in the cabinet, I nearly didn't pick it up. I thought it was one of those, you've probably seen them in the UK, the charity shops. I think it's probably British Heart Foundation maybe. So they do these gold hearts. And they do all different kinds of styles. I think they bring a different style out each year. And you can buy them on the counter for a couple of quid. And people collect them and it's a way of being able to make a donation to the charity as well. So at first I thought it was one of those, and they don't sell very well and I don't tend to pick them up, so I kind of hovered over it and then pulled my hand out. I wasn't going to get it, but as I pulled some earrings out, it kind of revealed the surface, and I thought, oh, that's a bit bigger than the usual hearts, and it was slightly different shape as well. So I thought, oh, I'll have a quick look. And it had, on the back here, it's got a little square that's got some initials in. So I thought, well, at least it's a branded piece. So it could be something like Money or Sphinx or something like that. So I thought, well, it'd be worth it, because this was in the pound cabinet. So I thought, right, we'll grab that. And I mean, it doesn't look like very much. That's the back. There we go. And then that is the front. So you can probably just see that there's a little bit, tiny bit of writing around the top there. So it's a slightly off-centre heart shape. And I couldn't read what it says because it's like handwriting that's written on the front. However, it is designer, and I'm going to say this wrong because I can never pronounce it properly. Yves Saint Laurent, I want to say. Probably just butchered that. So I looked this up. We got this back to the place that we were staying, and Debbie was like, oh, show me what you've got. So we got it out, and she was like, do you realise what this is? And we looked it up, and this is worth between 150 and 300 pounds. That's what people will pay for these. And I looked at the actual solds as well, which is amazing. I think the lowest one that sold was 97 pounds. Someone had taken an offer. They had it on at 150, and then it was crossed out and someone had made an offer and it had sold for 97. So for a £1 investment, I thought that was amazing. I was super excited when I realised what that was. So yeah, I can't wait to get that listed. I listed I think I showed you the Burberry's one that I got when we were on holiday, and I paid, I think, £2 for that one. And again, that one's worth like in the hundreds. It's absolutely bonkers. And they're nothing special in terms of material. So this is just a gold-plated metal. So nothing precious or anything. But people do collect them because it is vintage as well. There'll be a collector out there that's looking for one of these. So yeah, that would literally pay for my whole weekend, which is just amazing. So before I disappear and go and film my pan round of all the items so that you can see them properly, I went to a car boot sale with my parents and my nephew for a nosy round, and it was one that I've been to before, and I was hoping to see the same people there because there was a guy who had loads of costume jewellery kind of piled up and you had to have a rummage. However, he wasn't there this time, but that didn't stop me. So this is my haul from the car boot sale, and this is what's going to be coming out next week. So in next week's video, I'm going to spend some time cleaning these up, and then I'll be able to show you each piece and kind of talk you through what they are, where they've come from, kind of what era they're from, what they might be worth as well. But I'm going to save those for next week. As always, thank you very much for watching, and if this is your cup of tea and you enjoy these kind of videos, then don't forget to subscribe, and I shall catch you on the next one. That's how that one looked before, really tarnished and looked like it was all scratched up. And then that side's had a little polish just so you can see the difference. And that's a good way of spotting silver in the charity shops, is if it looks like it's tarnished like that, it is likely to be silver, sometimes silver plated.